If I kill myself, my parents will be devastated. It's the only thing that kept me going for a while. This comment made me shed tears just because I can relate to it. I'm a high schooler, no friends, and struggling with grades. Not because I don't know the material. I show up to every lesson without fail. It's just that I can't care enough about the work in order to do it. And to be completely honest, back then, on multiple occasions, I had thought of going to the kitchen, grabbing a knife, and ending it. I'm no longer, but in my view, I won't care if I die in my daily life. As a guy, all I want is for someone to care about me besides my mom and dad. My father committed when I was 15. I came home from the last day of school looking forward to summer. He was dead on the front porch. Yes, that cheered and scared me emotionally, but it also made me realize that I am in this world alone and nobody really cares. So what? I care about my life and others, and that's all that matters. Nothing gets me down. Nothing. I don't even want a bunch of women or sex. At this point, I just want to be seen and heard. I always feel like I need to provide for others, but when I need a shoulder to cry on, I'm on my own. Any man that unironically says that jerking off helps with their loneliness is lying not to us but themselves. I have a boyfriend, and he has a really awesome friend group of guys. I know they're lonely and struggling in life. I really appreciate that they see me as a friend and not just a girlfriend tagging along to a hangout. It hurt a lot when one of them called me on Discord in tears and asked me, why does it have to be so hard? When a girl led him on and used him. He said the only reason he hadn't killed himself yet was because he would leave his sister homeless because they both lived paycheck to paycheck to pay rent for their apartment. I have no loving arms to hold me. Every day I wake up, then I start to break up. Lonely as a man without love. Joined the army just to feel like I belong somewhere and to escape society. 4 years later, sitting in a wheelchair, single, no legs, shamed by society, and worse than ever before. My ex told me back in 2021 to quit crying and be a man when my great grandmother died. People like this, yeah, they exist. My best friend sadly became a statistic a few months ago and took his life. It took us all by surprise because he was doing great, but clearly he was suppressing his demons and they eventually won. I miss him greatly, and we all need to address our demons and get help before they take us with them. I hate the whole men are lonely because they can't get laid or just beat one out if you're lonely. The majority of men actually just want a relationship and someone to reciprocate love with. Maybe men just aren't good people. Me, lonely because I worked 70 hours a week to keep my house for my daughter and ex-wife, while she went and found a boyfriend while I was at work. My daughter is the only reason I'm still here. I had no idea 1 in 5 men don't have any close friends. I had convinced myself it was just me. I think that's a key to us dudes getting better, realizing we're not alone. 6? I don't know any men that have 6 close friends. I don't think that's even possible. Men just don't have enough daily words to make that happen. If I die, then I can't stop my friends from doing so too. Couldn't live for myself, so I decided to live for the sake of the boys. Today a woman complimented me. She walked up to me and said, "I just wanted to say I really like your socks." I was wearing teal socks with pictures of pizza placed around randomly. She wore blue socks also with pizza. I don't think I'll ever forget her. As a 30-year-old man, the last time someone hugged me was on my mother's funeral 10 years ago, and it's good to know I'm not the only one like this. As a woman, it's one thing to be able to raise a lonely man's team up by a million through the power of a compliment. Honestly, I think the only reason I'm still here is I don't want all the people I've met online going through not knowing what happened to me. Friends are so important. I had a period in my life when I had no one to share thoughts with. It was unbearable, and it made me even more awkward around others. I don't have a girlfriend and probably never will, but at least I have constant access to people that care about me somewhat. People who listen to my opinion on a random topic and share their own. People with whom I can share photos from my travels, share music, memes, and funny facts I learned on the internet. Kinda sucks to know that everybody flocks to women at the side of any issue, but if a man verbalizes their thoughts, he basically gets, "Do it, bitch." I wish I was a monster that society portrays me as. I wish I truly benefited from a patriarchal society, had better chances at getting jobs, was always safe at night. I'm 22, with a sick mother with a deadbeat father I've never met. My mom works her back off on a farm, trying to make ends meet, while I'm trying to get a master's degree, battling with depression. What fucking friends? What fucking girlfriend? Choosing loneliness is less dangerous than choosing to open up and being disregarded. I like how men and women are treated as if they are separate species. It's both depressing and a relief to hear that most young men are alone just like I am, because that means we aren't truly alone. I'm not lonely, I am driven, among other things, by pure spite. Some of the girls that I had a relationship texted me apologizing for not appreciating when I was going the extra mile for them. I got this kind of treatment for countless times that I grew sour about relationships. Now I never look back and try to make it work again. I know this will probably get barred and never seen, but I don't care. I want to talk about this. Anywho, I'm a guy into traditionally guy things, decent, good looking, and single. I basically hit the nail on the head with everything, especially with lacking a purpose, at least with how I feel. I'm currently going to school to hopefully be a race car engineer driver. I'm enjoying it very much, and my grades aren't too bad, and I'm learning a lot both about the job and myself. However, the uncertainty of everything makes me hesitate to fully commit to my future, not just on the money side of things, but the social side too. I want to believe everything will work out and I'll find someone, but with my lack of success in dating apps and me being sort of socially inexperienced for my age, I'm not bad, but I could be better. Makes me question everything I'm doing and wonder, is it even worth trying? But every time I think there's another, louder voice in my head yelling at me to keep moving forward and reminds me how far I've come and how giving up now would be insulting everyone and especially myself. So I wade through those thoughts. It doesn't change how much they hurt though. As far as the solution is concerned, I'm not sure. Hell, I don't think anyone knows how to approach fixing things. Part of me says just go outside, but that doesn't tackle the core of the issue of guys feeling lost. We can give advice, point fingers, romanticize, vilify people, and scream until our lungs give out, but that won't change the core of this issue. I'm confident there are people smarter than me that can address this issue in a smarter, more thought out, and organized way than I can and give solid solutions based on statistical data. But that's not accounting for the outliers in said data, and a social theory is still just a theory. But at the end of the day, I think most young men just want their feelings and emotions to be validated, which is probably why guys like Andrew Tate popped off. The only reason I'm alive right now is that one day my brother told me about his experiences with depression and thoughts because he saw that when I was doing the same stuff, nobody else in my family even asked how I was doing. It goes to show how little it really takes to help. If you see someone struggling with depression or anything related to it, then reach out and talk to them and be their shoulder to cry on. You never know when you might need help too. All I have to say about society is, at least my yellow pillow doesn't hate me. That male loneliness took my father from me 3 years ago, right out from under me. He had no real friends, although he talked positively of his coworkers. He just came home to my overbearing mother, who relished in making him miserable, since she was miserable for her own reasons. And when misery can't find company, it makes it. He had finally had enough and used a handgun he kept in the bedside table on himself. I lived nearby, and I was called in right after it happened. Something I would never wish for even my worst enemy to see. When I try to sleep, I still see and hear it. If it had not been for my military training, I probably would have just picked it up and used that handgun on myself as well. None of those aforementioned coworkers came to his funeral. What was I doing the night before? Trying to raise awareness to military rates, as my former command was in the news for a rash of them at the time. I was so focused on it that I was blind to what was happening right in front of me. That's a heavy shame I'll carry with me to my grave. I work a hard labor job in restoration. I've literally crawled through sewage under houses, worked 16-hour days, and cleaned up for minimum wage. I make more now and I enjoy my job, so I'm not complaining, but talking with and seeing what people say on the internet has made me completely uninterested in a relationship. And yes, all the I've done so far were men. Since nobody gonna see this, at one point I was so lonely and deprived of human interactions that I went to watch first person hug videos on YouTube just to feel less lonely. I've been dealing with this for 3 decades. I recently drove 1,500 miles to visit a lonely bro suffering in a toxic household and give him a hug. Please give my fellow lonely bros some love. The only thing worse than being alone is being surrounded by people who make you feel alone. Robin Williams. And we all know what happened to him.